Hey, what's up everybody? This is Panaorios, so welcome back to Fortnite. Update 4.2 came out today, and with it came the Perk RECOMBOBULATOR. And what that is a system that allows us to basically have more control over the perks we gain on our weapons. Now, any weapons that you get after this update will come with the new system, but any weapons that you had before this update, weapons, traps, all of that stuff, you'll have to convert to the new system. Now, they did a couple of things where they've changed crit chance. In fact, crit chance is actually pretty nerfed right now. There's a new system that is called crit rating, where if you get to 25 crit rating, that acts the same as 25% crit chance. But let's say you get to 50, you'll be expecting 50% crit chance, but actually what you're going to be getting is more like a 37.5% crit chance. So there are diminishing returns to getting a bunch of crit chance. And also with the new perk change system, different perks don't fit in certain slots. So let's say before you had a bunch of damage perks one after the other. With the new system, sometimes the damage perks won't fit in the slots that you actually want. And also with this update came a bunch of new resources. So you have perk up and you have reperk, and then you also have the different elemental perks. So you have, I think it's frost amp, shock amp, and fire amp or something along those lines. So I think today we're just going to take a look at the perk system and see if we can switch some things on this gun here, the Razor Blade. So there is a tutorial quest going on right now that if you switch out a perk, you gain access to a bunch of the new materials. So let's go ahead and get into this. So my Razor Blade, which I happen to like a lot, is currently Malachite, and the perks I have on it are 14% fire rate, 15% damage to afflicted, 21% durability, 50% reload speed, and it comes with fire and affliction. So this is what they call a legacy weapon. This is something that I've had since before this update. So if you go over to your weapon screen and you click upgrade inspect and you click on upgrade, if you go down to modify perks, you get this little thing here. So Perk RECOMBOBULATOR, upgrade or replace perks. Say hello to the vendor tech Perk RECOMBOBULATOR. This new tool lets you customize weapon and trap perks for even more Husk crushing power. Many older items have to be converted before recombobulation. The recombobulator process will change some existing perks, but if your converted items have free slots, you can choose the new perks yourself. Try it out and perk up that armory. Okay, so I could click don't show this again, but I think I want to keep this up. So let's click show preview. This is one thing that I think is good, where they let you see what your weapon's going to change into. So it looks like I keep the fire rate, I keep the durability, looks like my 15 damage to affliction stays, and as you can see, element fire stays, and I guess I can upgrade the damage that it does. So currently with 3 perks, it's at 10%. Maybe it will go up to 15 or something. We'll see. And then it seems that I get a innate perk at the bottom there that causes affliction damage for 6 seconds. So they sort of split up that fire and 10% weapon damage and causes affliction into 2 separate slides. So I'm going to click convert, and we're going to see if we can switch out maybe durability and see what goes in that free slot. So let's hit convert. Okay, so now it looks like in this first slot, I can either upgrade it to go to 21 for the second perk, or I can switch it to plus 10 crit rating, plus 45% crit damage, or plus 10% damage. What about the second slot? So instead of durability, I can get magazine size, reload speed, or 30% weapon stability. And what's really cool, it seems, is that you actually keep the level that your perk is at. So you see, my durability is currently at level 2. I'll be able to replace it with the level 2 perk on magazine, reload, or weapon stability. I don't think I'm going to go for stability, so I don't think I have to worry about that. I might go for magazine size, because the longer I can fire with this thing, I think would be the better. And the reload speed on this is actually pretty decent. I mean, 2 seconds is really not that long. Alright, so now onto the element. Oh, cool. So it looks like I can upgrade it to 15% weapon damage instead of the 10 I have now. So I'm guessing maybe the max is 20 or something. But it looks like I can replace it with energy, nature, physical, that's new, and water. And it looks like physical gives you a much larger damage output than the elemental ones. That might be something interesting to look into if you want to customize a weapon for, I'm guessing, something that's not an element, maybe like mist monsters. Yeah, maybe takers and blasters you can use a physical weapon on and kill them faster. Okay, so now let's take a look at the free slot. We got plus 20 critical rating, plus 90% crit damage, plus 20% damage, and plus 27% headshot damage. I wonder why this is set to 3. I forget what was originally here, but hey, I'll take a rank 3 perk. So it looks like my original crit chance on this weapon is 10%. So let's see, how much critical rating do we get? So if I switch out this fire rate, I get 10. And if I put another critical rating here, that will be 30. So that will add 25% to that 10 I have. So 35% crit chance, but I don't really have that much crit damage. So that might not be the best. Now this one right here says 15% damage to afflicted targets. Now I think I want to double down on this increased damage to afflicted targets, seeing as right here my weapon causes affliction. And it seems that you can't change these innate perks. So whatever you have at the very bottom seems to be something that will stay with the weapon, which I think is interesting. So these perks here, we got 12% damage to mist monsters and bosses. What's considered a boss? Just the mini boss? Maybe. 15% damage to slowed and snared targets, and 15% damage to stunned, staggered, and knocked down targets. Okay, I'm gonna keep the affliction, damage to affliction. I might actually perk this up. Oh, I don't have any of the stuff yet. Okay, I'm guessing that's what comes if I change a perk. So let's actually change this durability perk, and let's change it to 1,000? Wow, okay. So it costs 1,000 of this reperk resource to change a perk. Okay, so it looks like I'm only gonna be able to change one perk. And what did it cost over here to put a new slot in? Oh, these are free. Interesting. Okay. So let's head back here. Let's change this to... Yeah, let's change this to magazine size, because currently the Razor Blade has a 30 magazine size. Yeah, let's do that. So let's confirm magazine size. Okay, so that quest is complete because I just changed the perk. So now I should get access to a bunch of the new stuff. Okay, so I get 1200 reperk, which is what we just used. That will replace that. We get 100 uncommon perk up. We get 150 rare perk up. And we get 225 epic perk up. Cool. Now what about... Oh, okay, there's another challenge actually where you can get the fire, nature, and water elements. You actually have to kill those husks to get that. So let's see, we got magazine size now, which jumped up to 41. That's pretty good. Now the thing we wanted to do was actually check out the free slot. So it already has innately 10% crit chance, so maybe I should go for headshot damage, because the Razor Blade is actually a pretty accurate weapon. So I could go for headshot damage, but I wonder if flat out damage would be better. Okay, I think for this free slot, I'm gonna go for headshot damage rather than straight 20% damage, because in the patch notes, which are in the description by the way, they've changed the way that headshot damage works. So before it was an additive, but now it's multiplicative. So headshot damage essentially has been buffed. So I think I'm gonna go for headshot damage. So the way the system worked before, this plus 27% would have changed that headshot damage number. Now it multiplies your headshot damage number by this headshot damage. So like I said before, headshot damage has been buffed. So I think this is a good perk to choose for this. Now let's see if I can upgrade this damage to afflicted targets. So I need 100 of the green perk up and 45 of the reperk. So I think a way that you can get more of that green resource is actually through the missions. I think a bunch of the missions have the new perk stuff in it, resources. So that's one way you can get it. But let's confirm this, and that should upgrade that perk. There was another quest for it? Oh, that's awesome. Wow. Whoa, legendary perk up. Okay, I didn't know there was a second tutorial quest for that. So now we have even more of this perk up stuff, and we get back what we just used, and we get added with this legendary perk up. That's really cool. Is there another one I can take a look at? Let's see on the quests page. Okay, I think that was actually it. So there's only 2 tutorial quests, one to change a perk and one to upgrade a perk. So let's head back to the armory and let's see if we can change anything else with this gun. Okay, so we have 27% headshot damage, 22% damage to afflicted, and it looks like we can change this fire rate. Now, do I want to? Because I don't have any other crit rating things with this, which is interesting. So if I don't reach a certain crit threshold, my crit chance won't go up. But it looks like I can possibly upgrade this perk. Now, there are probably better ways to go about these things for weapon things to look for, but I think on this weapon, I'm going to focus on just pure damage. So I think I'm going to switch out this perk to actually be the 10% damage. So if we switch that out, our damage will go up. Okay, so this is currently 10% damage. I think I'm going to leave it here for a bit until I get some more of that reperk resource. But I want to check another weapon and see what happens to these permanent weapons. So if we take a look at the Gravedigger, this weapon you got from the Halloween event, and it comes with 14% crit chance, 22% damage to afflicted, 45% crit damage, and 15% damage. Now let's see what we can do with this weapon. So we keep the element, of course, and it gets that extra bonus of affliction at the bottom. We get the damage, we get the crit chance, and it seems that 14% crit chance becomes 10% critical rating. I don't know about that. Now, does plus 10 critical rating actually change anything? I think I'm going to make the Gravedigger our event weapon test. So, currently we have 24% crit chance. Let's see if that lowers with the plus 10 critical rating. So now we've converted this. So before we had 24, so it looks like we lost out on 2% crit chance. And that's kind of unfortunate, but we can always upgrade this critical rating. Oh, and it also seems that with these permanent weapons, you cannot switch out the perks, which makes a lot of sense to me actually, because these come with fixed perks, so why would they let you switch out the perks? So what we could do is actually upgrade this critical rating. Let's see what we get after we upgrade this. So we just jumped up from 22.5 to 27.5. So I think if I max this out, it'll be pretty good for this weapon. I think it's going to take a little while to actually get all these perks as max as possible. But can you imagine how strong this gun would be when all of these perks are maxed out? That's pretty cool. So now that we got the ranged weapons out of the way, I want to try to convert one of my melee weapons. So as you guys know, I absolutely love the slice and dice that I got. I got 40% crit chance, 10% damage, 21% crit chance, and 28% crit chance. And it comes with fire and affliction. And that leaves me with a crit chance of 73%. So let's see what happens when we convert it to the new system. So if we go to upgrade, we go to modify, we show preview. So let's see what we lose. We have 10%. We have plus 10 critical rating, and we get 2 free slots. We keep the element, of course, we keep the damage. So it looks like you can't have multiples of crit chance anymore. So let's convert this. It hurts, but we're gonna do it. So now let's see what we can get in these new slots. There's actually a couple of new melee perks that I might be interested in. We'll see. So in the first free slot, we get a choice between 16% damage resistance, which might be really good for melee. We get 28% durability, 1.6% life leech, or 10% movement speed. Life leech, that's a new perk, and so is that damage resistance. Now what about the other free slot? We get damage to mist monsters and bosses, damage to afflicted targets, damage to slowed and snared, and damage to stunned, staggered, and knocked down. Well, seeing as my weapon comes with affliction, I think the best thing to do is actually choose the damage to afflicted targets. And now with this free slot, I'm stuck between going for damage resistance and going for life leech. Because my thinking is that damage resistance will only mitigate damage. Now I typically use this weapon with ninjas, and most of them come with an ability called Shadow Stance, which gives them damage resistance as long as they keep killing. So I wonder if I should go for more damage resistance to, you know, add up to that, or if I should go for Life Leech, because Life Leech scales off of the damage that you actually do. So I don't know. That's kind of tough. I think I really want to try out the Life Leech side of things. So let's go ahead and switch this to 1.6% Life Leech. Okay, cool. So if I upgrade this, it looks like I get 2% Life Leech on the damage that I do. So this got nerfed pretty roughly, now that I see it. So instead of the 73 we had, we only have 22. So I think I'm going to focus on maxing out this critical rating. So we'll see how high this can get, but I'm going to have to go and grind for some of that green resource when I start doing missions. Okay, so now that melee weapons are out of the way, I think we should take a look at traps. So now one of my favorite traps is actually these wall darts here. I got crit chance, crit damage twice, reload speed, and even more reload speed. So let's see if we can change up some of the perks on this. So if we upgrade and modify, let's take a look at the preview. So it looks like these wall darts do physical damage, which seems to increase their damage even more, so we get an extra 33% damage on that. Looks like we get critical rating, reload speed, and crit damage, but we also lose out on that 67% crit damage, and we lose out on that extra reload speed, it seems. So let's convert this, and let's see what we can put in those slots. So we can't change physical damage, the only thing we can do is actually perk it up. Critical rating, I think I'm going to hold on to. Reload speed is good for traps, so I think I'm going to hold on to this. So let's take a look at the first free slot. It seems that we get 20 critical rating, we get 20 damage, or we get 20 durability. So I'm not too concerned about durability on traps because they don't seem to be used that often, unfortunately. So I think I'm gonna not get that. I might get the pure damage. That might be good for this. In the second free slot, we can get heals attached to buildings 3.2% of its max health every 10 seconds. Wow, really? So it gets that perk that constructors have. Or it can get 28% durability or 11% increased building health. Wow, I can give my wall darts a healing effect on buildings. How can I not go for that? Heals attached building 3.2% of its max health every 10 seconds. That's really cool. So now I have to evolve these. Which is, I mean, I'm fine with that. I'll definitely evolve these. So once I get to level 25, I can actually heal buildings that it's attached to. That's really cool. Now I think in this free slot we're going to go for pure damage. So now what we end up with is physical and 32% damage. We get 15 crit rating, which I can increase. We get crit damage, which is good, so I can maximize on that crit rating. We get more damage and we get reload speed, which I can upgrade. Alright, so I think that's going to bring us to the end of this episode. What I want you guys to do in the comments is actually let me know if you guys made any god rolls or potential god rolls when it comes to using the system. And I actually really hope you guys got to learn a little bit more about how the system works, and hopefully you can make smart choices when you choose your perks. But if you guys enjoyed this episode, please leave a like and consider subscribing. And also do me a favor and click the notification bell so you guys can be notified when I post. If you didn't, however, leave a comment, let me know why. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Later.